Alright, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast, and today is a 1 vs 1 on Langreskaya, and up north we have our Russian player, SturmTigerFrost, and on the southern end we have Don'tKnow, our red Wehrmacht player. And let's check out the map. We have a victory point on the left, victory point in the center, and a victory point on the right, all going diagonal across the map. Our fuel points are on the far left and far right side of the map, which I always say wrong, far right and far left. Oh jeez, I gotta learn my left and right. Munition on the left and the right side in the center of the map. So let's see how this game plays out. Engineers coming down to this first victory point, and Engineers taking the first territory point, deciding to not go right for the victory point here. MG42 for the first unit of the Wehrmacht, and we have a sniper coming out for the first unit of the Russian player. So we'll see if we can hold on to that sniper for a long time. Going sniper first is a very viable strategy, but I recommend only getting one sniper, as once you get two snipers, it's a little harder to micro them, as instead of just putting them against a fence and having them go camouflage, sometimes the other sniper doesn't go near the fence, and so you have to actually micro them both to be able to get into cover. So it just takes a little bit more time. And really, you only need one sniper, as it can, by itself, can rack up a lot of kills and cost your enemy more money than the sniper cost in the end. One time I casted a game, I think the sniper had about 60 or maybe 70 kills. It was pretty amazing, which means it cost his opponent possibly upwards of 5 to 1,000 manpower. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to do the math in my head right now, but a lot, let's just say. MG42 moving forward here. A little tongue-tied as they just cast a previous game. The sniper now taking the territory point right in front of his base here. Engineers taking the far left victory point, and Engineers taking the far right fuel point. So far, the Germans having a big advantage in terms of getting territory points here, so they have a slightly higher income going on right now, as they have taken much more stuff as it takes a long time to build the sniper. Conscript now battling out inside, garrisoned inside here, but they decided to get out of there as it was a little bit too much firepower on them. But I think they could have stayed inside and gotten a few kills on these Grenadiers here. It looks like they did get one kill, but could have did a little bit more damage. Actually, it looks like the sniper got the kill, has one kill so far. But they could have stayed inside this building and distracted those Grenadiers from that sniper. MG42 decides to get out of there, sees that sniper, doesn't want to start losing those MG crew. Over there, he's going to run into Engineers over here, and he's going to be sandwiched by conscripts, so I'm guessing he's going to be retreating very soon here. Indeed, retreats out of there. Engineers on the far left here, taking the fuel point. And we have another Grenadier squad, so we have 3 Grenadier squads for the Wehrmacht player, and that's why he has a little bit more on the territories, because he built Grenadiers, which build much faster than a sniper, so he's able to get them out and get them to victory points and territory points a little sooner. Now Ura on forward, a little bit unnecessary. I'm not sure if that was really a necessary approach, but hey, why not? As it only costs 10 munitions, not too bad, but it does add up, and you do need those munitions over time. With this sniper now getting another kill on these, going to try and go down here a little bit and try and get these in transit back to their base, but I doubt that's going to happen as they're a little too far out of range. Now Grenadiers moving forward to these Engineers here. Going to try and get up to this fuel point. Really wants that fuel point. These snipers now going to come around and get a few shots on these Grenadiers. Engineers now taking the territory point almost directly in front of the base here. Directly in front of the base, actually, but there's a territory point up that way as well. Sniper now trying to move forward, and they're going to retreat out of there and may take a kill here. However, sometimes it's a little hard to get retreating troops with a sniper, as the RNG comes into play in the high defense of retreating units. Now this is a pretty acceptable Ura there. Gets past, just barely gets past that MG42 before it was set up, so that is a definitely good use of Ura, and now forces that machine gun away. Grenadiers taking the territory point directly in front of the base. A dominating lead so far for the Wehrmacht players. He's taken way more than the Russian player has so far. However, it is still early in the game, so we will find out. And the sniper here needs to hold fire, so he stays in cover, but he fires, which gives him away. And now these Engineers are going to be moving forward, and these Grenadiers are going to be moving forward. So the sniper in big trouble now. Going to have to retreat out of there. Definitely recommend retreating immediately, as he's going to start losing the sniper. And aiming right for that sniper. Going to try and get it only down to one sniper left. In fact, only the spotter is left and runs away. It looks like he successfully got to his base. MG setting up against these conscripts here, now firing on them, but not going to suppress them right away because they do have good cover. And Grenadiers now forcing them away. Grenadiers now moving forward to these conscripts. Maybe get an extra kill, but it's sort of unlikely as there's only 2 Grenadiers in this group. Now Grenadiers taking the far right fuel point. And conscripts starting to take the left side back here. So we'll see how this plays out in a couple minutes if the Russian can take back some more of the territory that they need to have those resources. And these Grenadiers are taking a long time to take this munitions point because there's only 2 of them, so it's going to take a little extra time. And here comes the sniper now. Might be able to shave this down to just 1. But it looks like he does not notice these Grenadiers, which is unfortunate because he could be getting a good kill here. As they are totally unaware. These Grenadiers hiding behind this tractor over here in really good cover. And Sniper's now moving forward. Looks like they just now noticed these Grenadiers here. And going to get a shot taking down one of those Grenadiers. And if he doesn't move that out of there, going to lose that whole squad. But gets that out of there, retreats. Conscripts now taking this territory point right in the middle of all the German territory here. So those guys are in kind of trouble here, as the Germans could just move out pretty quickly. Looks like the Germans building a light mechanized company here. MG42 now trying to suppress these conscripts here. However, there's conscripts on the other side too. So this MG42 team is going to take some damage here. Now only down to 2 troops here. Conscripts battling out with these Grenadiers, and a rifle grenade blasted down, but they're in good cover, so they didn't lose as much as the Wehrmacht player wanted them to lose. And conscripts also taking the left side fuel point here from the Wehrmacht. And it looks like these Grenadiers are in better cover than the conscripts. However, losing those Grenadiers pretty quickly. Here comes some Pioneers to flank around, however, retreats those before they can get to them. There's some Grenadiers all the way up on the right side here, all the way up on the north, taking this territory point. Going to try and cut off some of the Russian resources here. And he almost had that munitions point, but decided to move out. Could have just waited an extra second, but decided to bring the conscripts in instead. As he wanted to get the snipers over here, so he can start racking up some kills on these Grenadiers, but got to watch himself. And one of those Grenadiers goes down. Now a 1-star veteran at 9 kills. Conscripts did take this left side fuel point and made some sandbags, because why not? They are free, and I always recommend building sandbags. So now they are behind really good cover, so it's going to be kind of hard for these Grenadiers to take that back. And Grenadiers didn't suffer any more losses. The sniper tried to fire at them again, however they were retreating. But these conscripts are going to battle it out with these Grenadiers for quite some time here, unless something changes and more troops come over. And indeed, more Grenadiers are coming over. Going to try and get the flank on. Should run up this way, maybe get some cover behind this little stump here. And now moving forward in there. Conscripts now taking this territory point in the center here. But however, there's an MG42 that was trying to suppress him. It looks like it's just out of line of sight now. Russians now taking the right side and the top side back. And now it looks like the Russians have sort of turned the game around slightly and do have a little bit more territory than the Germans now. Actually, just about equal. They have 13 and 13. It was equal for a second there. Now Germans moving up the left side here. Has a mine detector in case anything goes down for the Russian player. But it does not look like the Russian player has actually put down any mines so far, but better safe than sorry.
Area secured.
Here comes a scout car against these conscripts here, and the conscripts do not have anti-tank grenades, so they're just going to take a bunch of damage from this. Going to have to use their rifles to take it down, which is going to take a long time. Going to lose the squad before you will take that down, unless you have a couple squads firing at it at once. Engineers now taking this territory point almost directly in front of the Russian base here. Should take that one too, but that one would be rather difficult to take. Taking back the territory point from the Russians that they took. And now the scout car is moving across the map here, and it's going to catch these in transit, maybe able to get a kill, but I find it slightly unlikely that they're going to get a kill. And scout car takes a big hit from this 76mm. Took a hit in the rear armor from that 76. Almost destroyed it in one shot there. Now these engineers trying to take this territory point, but definitely not going to happen as there's 2 conscript squads moving forward, and only 3 of these engineers can fire, now losing 1. Forcing those Germans away. Pretty good job by these conscripts here to not allow the Germans to take that territory. And unfortunately, it looks like the Wehrmacht has more territory so far than the Russians, so definitely a bigger income as it's 52-32 compared to 11-7 for the Russians. So for score so far, the Russians at 412, the Wehrmacht at 469, so a very close battle so far. No reason to worry for either side. Grenadiers moving forward, going to try and get the flank on all this here. And there is a barrage coming in, and he needs to get that MG42 out of there immediately, and definitely does just that. Grenadiers firing at these conscripts here. May lose his conscript. Has only got a sliver of health. Definitely, yep, indeed, loses that conscript there. as if you have less health on your squad there, you will lose more often. Grenadiers now moving forward. There's 2 Grenadiers per squad here. Down to 1. Loses that Grenadier, so an eye for an eye. But will not lose this Grenadier. And let's check the sniper here. See how many kills it has. 13 kills. That may have paid for that sniper just yet. I'd like to see 20 kills on it before it's, really good and paid for. So you have to watch buying a sniper. You don't want to lose your sniper because they cost like 360 manpower, I do believe. And so you need to kill that many troops to make up for that sniper's cost. And you got to figure that every troop for the Germans is, let's just say about 25, 28-ish, maybe up to 30. On average, 25, 30. So that means you have to kill a good number of troops. At least 12, 14-ish to at least start to pay for the sniper squad if they were all 25.
Standing by.
Sniper firing at these Grenadiers that are running away. Don't think they'll get another kill. Nope, won't be able to fire in time. Conscripts now building sandbags here. Free, why not? And building them right at the munitions point here. However, I'm not sure if I agree with the position of those sandbags, as you can easily get around and fire around those. But that's okay, as they're free, and it doesn't really matter anyway. Scout car battling out with these conscripts here. However, there's some shock troops. Excuse me for stumbling on myself here. Shock troops moving forward at the scout car, and with their submachine guns, if they get close, they will actually do some pretty decent damage here. And a grenade blew up. It looks like it just barely got the front end of it. Did a little bit of damage here. And some battling going on over here. Some Grenadiers against these conscripts. These conscripts are building sandbags, so they're losing conscripts because an MG42 and these Grenadiers fired up at the same time. And Scout Car makes it out of there successfully, as there's really nothing that can take it out instantly. Engineers moving forward at these conscripts, but not going to be able to do too much of these conscripts, as they do have the mine detector, which means that only 3 of those engineers can fire, as this one just holds the mine detector and does nothing. And I find it odd that the OKW can put away their mine detector, but the Wehrmacht cannot. So it seems like the OKW was like a fix for the Wehrmacht, in the sense that, like, and got hit by a 76mm there, right in the side armor, and now it is abandoned. But it looks like these Grenadiers may try. Actually, the Grenadiers destroyed their own scout car to prevent the Russians from using it. A military tactic that's been used for many, many years. Just scuttle your own equipment so the enemy cannot get it. That would be a free scout car for the enemy, and why not? Now this sniper only has 1 man. Decided not to reinforce that sniper. I'm not really sure why. Maybe he just forgot about it. It would be a really good idea for him to reinforce that, because it has 18 kills and it is a 2-star sniper, which is sort of hard to get. Conscripts firing at these Grenadiers in this building here. These Grenadiers are just holding out. These conscripts are holding out, rather, because they have such good cover inside that building. Grenadiers now taking this territory point directly in front of the Russian base, and some engineers defending it. However, they're in negative cover, so they're going to lose out very fast to those Grenadiers. Now moving up close to this building here. Grenadiers and engineers moving up close here, and these conscripts are in big trouble. They have very, very low health, so they're going to start losing losing troops very quickly, but however, decides to retreat both of those groups. Now, an 82mm mortar out for the Russian player. And the 76mm has 1 kill, but has done quite a bit for this match so far, as it destroyed the scout car and hit it earlier, and was also barraging this building earlier to get the MG out of it. So far, pretty good use out of that at 76. Looks like we have a tank on the field, Panzer IV. Ye ol' Panzer Kampfwagen 4, or Fear, I suppose, if you want to say. Grenadiers against these conscripts, and these conscripts are not in cover at all. They're just in the side of the cover here. And this Panzer IV now chasing down these conscripts, and this is why I always recommend anti-tank grenades for conscripts. They're just so good, the anti-tank grenades. And now was a very, very lucky hit by that Panzer IV. It took out like 3 soldiers at once, which is a very typically unlikely hit. Grenadiers now moving forward against these engineers here. Going to take back this territory point. Decides to stop messing with these conscripts here. However, this MG42 is firing at these conscripts. Most of the bullets are hitting the ground. However, that doesn't matter in terms of suppression, as they will get suppressed even if the bullets are not hitting them. Which maybe, I'm not sure if it should change or not, but it's the way it is. And the 76 fired at these Grenadiers here and actually took out 1 or 2 with that fire. So again, very lucky shots going on in this game. Something that just doesn't happen very often, plain and simple. Now 21 kills for the sniper, our MVP. Oh, the replay. Just killing troop after troop here. Now only still 21. Looks like he missed that shot there. Panzer IV now coming along here and gonna fire right at these snipers. Gonna have to retreat him. Yep, he retreats him instantly there. Tries to get him out of there. There's a 76 right here. I'm not sure if this Panzer sees this. Gonna have to back out of there immediately, but may take a hit. And indeed, got those anti-tank grenades. Hit it in the back, but unfortunately it did not take out the engine, which is typically a rare thing. Usually it almost always takes out the engine, does damage to the engine if you hit a tank in the back with the anti-tank grenade, but can't always happen every time. Grenadiers trying to take back this right side victory point as they really need this because the Russians are losing very quickly in this match. HMG now set up here, but however this sniper is out of range of it, now shooting these machine gunners. Gonna have to pick that up and get out of there as fast as possible before the sniper fires again. Shock troops now taking the left side territory point here, and engineers taking the right side victory point. Meanwhile, grenadiers directly in front of each other, deciding not to fire for the moment, so they can both just take these flags, and then they'll just go back into war mode. Conscripts now taking this territory point here, and the Russian player needs to really span out as soon as possible and start taking some of this territory back, as the Wehrmacht just has so much resources. As you can see, 68 income of munitions, 45 fuel, compared to the Russian 16 and 10, so definitely losing very, very quickly. Need to keep up on those munitions and fuel. Conscripts battling out with these grenadiers here, and looks like this AT gun actually destroyed the cover there. Shock troops running right up onto these grenadiers here, and these shock troops will do huge damage to these grenadiers, as if you use shock troops right, they are extremely good, as they can throw smoke and throw grenades, both of which are very good. Smoke is the meta in this game, in my opinion, as smoke can do wondrous things, as I've seen in many of my replays that I've casted. And we'll see what's going on here. Now taking the right side munitions point, rather. Center victory point. Indeed, this is exactly what the Russian needs to do. Start taking these victory points back as soon as possible, as he's losing very, very quickly. 238 to 469. Shock troops standing here, taking this territory point. Looks like they will take it before this Panzer IV gets to them, and goes ahead and retreat so they don't lose any troops before that Panzer IV gets to them. MG42 against these conscripts here. It looks like the MG42 is actually kind of losing out on that, but now starts to suppress him. And here comes another Panzer IV. So now two Panzer IVs out on the field for the Wehrmacht player, because he has so much resources that he's able to get two Panzer IVs out at the same time here. Now two Panzer IVs now moving forward right at the Russian base. A anti-tank grenade, and this is exactly why I say anti-tank grenades on your conscripts. Now look at this engine. He has to back out of there. He's in big trouble. He can't really do too much with this tank at that slow speed. But however, he has a second tank now moving forward. Looks like these conscripts should have been throwing an anti-tank grenade on it. Looks like maybe they did. Did not take the engine out. 76mm gun almost has this Panzer IV down, but there's only two men left. Let's see if they can do it. Nope, cannot do it. Loses that before they are able to take that tank down. Two grenadiers moving up to take this red side munitions point, and almost lost this Panzer IV here. Gonna start repairing that up. Grenadiers now moving forward here, and he's just gonna drive almost right up into the base there, as these machine guns really don't do anything to it. And here comes these conscripts, and they may be throwing an anti-tank grenade. I'm not really sure. Yep, throwing an anti-tank grenade. Takes out the engine here, damages the engine. Now going to be slow itself, so you're going to have to repair that one too, which slows down the Wehrmacht player. When you have to repair, look how long this takes to repair. So that means that you're out of the fight for that long. So that's why I say anti-tank grenades on your conscripts. Even if you don't take out the tank, you cripple that tank, and you have to repair those engines, because you cannot risk having your tanks out there with the engines that slow. That's a 76mm gun or something like that can easily take you out. Needs to get another 76 out on the field, and there it is. Brings it out. Needs to take this one back too, so I'd like to see some conscripts move here and just grab that real quick and run off with it. However, this MG42 is now moving up here, going to reset up somewhere nice here and able to, yeah, indeed, setting up here. So now not going to be able to take this back so easily. However, the sniper is now coming down with 28 kills. I'm surprised it is almost a level 3. One more kill, and this will be a level 3 veteran, which will improve its rate of fire even further. So now I have very, very fast fire rate. So now 29 kills for this sniper, a level 3 sniper. So very, very nice. Conscripts over here trying to take some territory while the Wehrmacht is running away. And here comes the sniper here, firing over and over here, because it has double the fire rate. Well, almost double the fire rate, because it has 3 stars. As it increases the fire rate with every veterancy rate that it goes up. Sniper's got to watch out now. Goes ahead and retreats back. Not sure why he retreated back, but sure, just to keep him safe. The 76mm gun did hit that tank right in the side armor. Now has two 76mm guns, which I definitely agree with, as he needs those to take out these Panzer IVs. because his opponent could make even another Panzer IV or another tank of his choice very soon. He could make a Panzer V very soon with the amount of fuel that he has, as he has 42 and 36 income compared to 26 and 16. So the Russian is definitely being starved.
200 points.
And 200 points for the Russian player, 461 for the Wehrmacht. Looks like that Panzer IV actually took a direct hit to the top with a mortar there. Just a little sliver of damage. Now moving forward here, not the best situation here. Didn't have that 76 face the right. Could have hit it twice. And now trying to move it so that it can hit this Panzer IV in its rear armor space. So now he's going to take big hits to the rear armor and needs to like go all the way around this base here to be able to get away. These conscripts could have thrown an anti-tank grenade and finished off this tank, or at least damaged its engine so that these anti-tank cannons could have gotten around here. Now using blitzkrieg tactics to get out of there.
Our lines of supply are
now setting up the ZISs, but not going to be able to get it. Didn't have that ZIS faced the wrong way. Lesson learned. Engineers trying to take this victory point, although I'm not sure if they're going to be able to take it in time before they lose. No, definitely not. They're going to lose out all these engineers. It's going to be close. Nope. Decides to get out of there before they lose them all. And this got hit by something, and I didn't actually see what it got hit by. Maybe it got hit by these 76s. Now, messed up Panzer IVs here. Going to have to repair those up, so those are out of the battle for a good minute or two. However, the Russians is just not taking the territory that they need to take. And the Germans are taking these, neutralize this far right victory point here. So took that away from the Russians at the very least. Now going to take the center victory point too. So going to start lowering the Russian score once again. Here comes a Grenadier with an LMG right at these 76. I'm not really sure what he's doing. Should have started firing sooner, but wanted to get in this territory point, so decided to get out of there. Now Grenadier's taking this far right territory point here. And the sniper, while doing a huge, incredible job, love this 34 and 3 veterancy, but just not enough to be winning the game because they're just simply not taking the territory points he needs to take. And there goes one Grenadier. Oh, actually missed that Grenadier, which is very surprising for a 3-star. HMG set up right at this munitions point, which I definitely agree with that positioning. However, a sniper is just going to sit here and start firing at this MG. Going to have to get it out of there as soon as possible. May fire again with its increased fire rate, but nope, not able to get another shot off. Mortar is set up all the way in the base. Don't agree with that. Should bring that up just a little bit more so they can start firing at these troops here. Shock troops now moving over to the left side fuel point here. And fresh Panzer IV now moving out here. And his other Panzer IV is currently being repaired all the way back at base. 2 engineers going to be on that, so that's going to be repaired in a quick jiffy here. Panzer IV now moving out here. And we'll see what's going to do. And they do spot this Panzer IV, so now turning around the ZIS 76s. However, there's a big hill in their way, and it's just, ooh, but it actually goes through and hit that Panzer twice. So now down to half health in that Panzer with just one volley there. Grenadiers now trying to fire at these ZIS, trying to stop the ZIS from getting into the tank here. And the Panzer IV could turn around, going to get that sniper around the other side of the building so it cannot fire at it. And trying to move up these ZIS here, but not going to make it in time as it's going to go all the way around once again. And I would like to see a conscript somewhere along here use a anti-tank grenade on it, but there were none around at the time. And these conscripts run out for their lives. Wehrmacht going to take this center victory point back. And the Wehrmacht looks like they're going to be taking the other victory point back here. Neutralize it at the very least. Took it away from the Russians. Now comes the 3-star sniper here. Going to start blasting at these Grenadiers, but he's very, very close range, so those Grenadiers could turn around on him as well. Grenadiers now trying to force these ZIS back. And retreats those out of there. 2-star Panzer IV now with the armor skirts on the side of it. Moving up here, so now it's very, very formidable, and the Russian just doesn't have anything to be able to deal with it. They have the 2 ZIS, but they're just not mobile enough as these Panzer IVs can blitzkrieg tactics and just bail out of there very, very quickly. And 2 shots in the front, just miss. Looks like 1 shot actually hit the ground just in front of it. So missing that Panzer IV was very unfortunate, as it could have done some pretty decent damage to the frontal armor there. Would have had to repair that back up. Shock troops taking back the victory point, or territory point. Oh my god, just tripping all over myself here after about an hour of casting. That's what happens to you.
What do you want, comrade?
Now we're going to take this territory point here. However, their Grenadiers moving out. It looks like they're going to be moving out right towards those shock troops, so they're going to be retreating very soon. Both Panzer IVs and are now level 2 veterans, with both with side armor skirts. So very, very high armor Panzer IVs here. And I'd like to see the Russians maybe even get another ZIS to be able to deal with all these tanks here. 3 firing at once would do major damage to any tank, basically. Even as much as a Tiger. MG42 defending this area here, so not too bad. I'd like to see another MG42 maybe set up here, so any troops moving in this area would be all suppressed. Grenadiers now moving up to the territory point, retaking it right from the shock troops. So shock troops in vain taking both of these territory points here.
AT gun here.
Now trying to set up the AT guns, but I'd like to see them set up a little bit more on the hill, because there is a hill directly in front of them, and I'd hate to see the bullet hit the ground and not hit the tank that they are aiming for. 2 Grenadiers now moving forward here as well, maybe going right for this victory point here. However, there's 3 conscript squads, so going to take out those Grenadiers. Probably going to take out those Grenadiers, but they are 3-star Grenadiers, so going to do some damage back to them regardless. Now hitting one of those snipers. Took one of those snipers out right off the bat, and now took out that 3-star sniper, so big loss for that Russian player, as that was a very, very precious sniper for him, as it was taking out German troops for about 26 minutes now. Panzer IV all the way in the back. I'd like to see that moving up. However, these conscripts do have anti-tank grenades, so they can triple throw anti-tank grenades, but he just doesn't have the munitions to use many of them. He only has 60 munitions. But he does have... Oh, he did bring in a tank just now. He brought in an IS-152, so this may be the Russian saving grace. He may be able to take out the Panzers with this, combined with the ZIS all at once, firing all at once. Could do some huge damage to those Panzer forces. Conscripts now moving out, trying to force away all these Grenadiers here so they can start taking this territory back. However, there's lots of Grenadiers here, and they're all 3-star veterans, virtually all 3-star veterans, yeah. Yeah, indeed, all 4 of his Grenadier squads are 3-star veterans, so kept those Grenadiers all game. So very, very good job for the Wehrmacht player. Don't know. IS-152 now setting up against these Grenadiers here. These Grenadiers are about to take heat. And took a big hit there, destroyed those sandbags in one blow. Here comes the Panzer IV, and here comes the Tiger Ace now. Gonna have to back this IS-152 up. These ZIS are facing the wrong way. Actually, they're facing the correct way, because there's one on either side. Gonna lose this IS-152. I do not see this IS-152 getting out of here. Skill tank now coming up here. Pretty funny. And completely, the IS-152 completely useless. Didn't even really get a shot off, as it was just overwhelmed instantly. So that looks like the end for the Russian player, unless he can get some kind of miracle play going. I doubt he will win this game. That was a big loss for that Russian. He had to save up all game for that, because he just didn't have the resources to be able to do it. So we'll see that to play out. So this CIS is actually remaining alive, doing some pretty big damage to those tanks. So that Panzer IV has to get out of there, has to crawl out of there. So the Russian player, GG's, leaving Don'tKnow, the Red Wehrmacht player, as the winner. And the Wehrmacht just took way more territory than the Russian did the entire time, although the Russian did have a hero sniper. It just wasn't enough, as he just wasn't taking the territory that he needed. As you can see in the end, 42 and just 3, but in the end, 26 and 42. So it looks like towards the end, he actually had a higher resource than throughout the beginning and the middle of the game, but just didn't have the resources to bring out enough tanks or any kind of armor against all these Panzer IVs, and finally this Tiger Ace. But I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I will see you guys next time.